And we are live. It is 6 o'clock. We've got Renea Privett here with us. I want to thank everybody for joining in. I want to thank Stand again for letting us have this opportunity. We've had prayer. We want to ask everybody to remember Renea. This is not an easy thing to do. I hope everybody understands that. There's only one reason that people come and do this stuff and share their story is to try to be a help to people. That's it. It's not for anything for them. They're taking time out of their day. We're not paying them. We're not doing anything for them. Just asking them to come and to share their story because we know people are struggling. We know people need help, and we think this is a big help for people. So we want to just tell everybody that we thank you for tuning in. We thank you for watching. We love every one of you. And I'm just going to get real quick. I'm going to get out of the way. I'm going to give Renea the room, and when she gets done, she'll let me know. We love and thank every one of you. And here's Miss Renea Privett.
Hello, everybody. This camera's kind of weird. So my name's Renea, and I'm a recovering addict. When I was 2 years old, my parents divorced, and me and my older sister were separated at the time. We didn't get to spend time together. We didn't get to really grow up together at all. I lived with my granny, and she lived with our mama. Growing up, I was afraid of everything. I was afraid of alcohol. I was afraid of everything. And I was the scaredy cat out of all my friends, and they'll tell you that. Whenever I hit, well, let me back up. Growing up, I didn't have my mom in my life. She struggles with addiction, and so it was in our best interest, that we couldn't be with her. She'd pop in and pop out, and it really took a toll on me. Around middle school, I guess I was about 14-ish. I smoked my first joint with a group of friends, a couple family members, and I thought I was going to die. Literally thought I was going to die. Again, I was scared of everything, and around the same age, I got with this guy. He was far older than me, and he almost ruined my life. He introduced me to a lot of things, and I was still a child. He was a grown man. So my mom, she would pop in and out of my life, and my granny kind of allowed that because she knew, that I wanted to see her, that I wanted to be with her. And whenever I hit high school, I met Estel. He was my best friend for a long, long time, and he knew everything that I went through, and it didn't matter. I had dental work done before I turned 18 so that my insurance wouldn't run out on me, and I was introduced to pain pills, and I liked how they made me feel. I wasn't addicted to them or anything. I just liked how they made me feel. When they were gone, they were gone. I wasn't addicted to them yet. And me and Estel got married whenever I turned 18 and lived together for a while. And I got pregnant with our first child, Bradley, and I had him at 19. I had, when Bradley was about one-ish, two, I had to have surgery on my feet. And I was introduced back to pain pills, and I liked it, but this time I didn't stop. I was at a point in my life to where I was still living through past issues. I just struggled with a lot of things, and so I didn't stop. My mom was right by my side this whole time. She supported me during the first phase of my drug habit, and she had never supported me before in my life. So I kept it hid for a long time, or I thought I did. And Estel and I lived with my mom off and on. I've done skipped around way too much. I'm going to back up a little bit. When I turned 18, I rebelled because I wasn't allowed to be with my mom, and I moved in with her. When I moved in with her, I quit school. 3 months before graduation, I quit school. I quit talking to people. I quit talking to my family, my friends, everybody besides Estel, and it kind of started from there, I guess. Moving back up, we lived with my mom for a while after my foot surgery, and I started doing pain pills, and it was hydrocodones at first. That's all I knew at the time, because I got them from the doctor. I would call and lie and say I needed them for my feet, and so that went on for a while, and I would say about it was a couple years after that. I was getting prescribed a medicine called Tramadol, and I don't even remember what it was prescribed to me for. I don't remember. And I was visiting one of my family members, and I downed almost the half of the bottle, and I had a seizure, and I was rushed by ambulance to the emergency room, and that's when everybody kind of found out that I had a problem, and I still did not think that I did. I kept doing my drugs, and because I kept getting by with it. I didn't think that I had a problem. I just thought that I liked it, and it was for fun and all that. And I don't remember Bradley's exact age, but during all this, Estel and I ended up living with his mom for a little bit, and then we lived on our own for a while after that too. And when we did, I got pregnant with our second child, Connor, during all of it, and I kept doing my drugs. I ended up getting to the point where I was stealing from my husband. I was taking TVs out of our home, game consoles, his guns. I pawned my rings or traded them to drug dealers for pills. At this point, I was highly addicted to Percocet 30 milligram, and I could take 5 or 6 of them at once and still need more an hour later. I wrote bad checks and signed Estel's name to them. I lied to people. I deceived people. I lied to my own family to get money. I done very, very bad things to get drugs. And Estel ended up leaving me for a while. I didn't care. All I cared about was pills and everybody who done them, and my mom was still by my side this whole time. I have sold myself for drugs. I've never told anybody that, but I'm telling you today. I have done anything and everything I had to do to get them. Whenever me and Estel kind of was back and forth, we still had our boys, and Connor was a tiny baby. He was a very, very tiny baby. I eventually got DCS called on me, and it was constant. It was an everyday. People were reporting it every single day, thank God. And they would drug test me, and I would fail them, or I would try to get by with it with a script that was completely out of date. I kept failing them and failing them and failing them until they took the boys out of my custody, and I was allowed to be with them as long as Estel was present. And that didn't last too long. Brettley's always been a mommy's boy, and I went to leave one day. We were at Estel's mom's, and I went to leave one day to go to our apartment and get some clothes. And Brettley screamed to go with me, and Estel let him go. And that broke court order. I was pulled over because somebody seen me with them. And that broke court order, so they took them out of Estel's custody, and they placed them with my sister. At this point, I didn't care about anything. I didn't care about anybody. I hated my life. And I went really, really hard with the drugs after that. I was on drugs so badly, and I done so many bad things that I was told by the judge that I couldn't even talk to my oldest child on the phone. And from that point on, I barely remember anything that went on in my life. Estel left again. My mom was my ride or die. She was my best friend during that time, and we would stay in the car for hours. Even if she wasn't with me, I would stay in the car for hours, all day long, chasing money, chasing dope. I've drove in ice storms, put my car in the ditch because of it, just to get to the drug dealer's house. I've hid in ditches from my family so they wouldn't see me at certain places. I was also told by the judge at this point if I seen my boys in the store with my sister or anywhere, that I was supposed to walk away. And there were a lot of instances where I would wake up in somebody's floor that I had no idea whose home it was. Had no idea how I even got there, or didn't remember anyways. I have woken up with people over top of me yelling at me. They thought I was dead. Don't remember anything about that. So I was going to print out some pictures and I forgot, but this was my boys whenever I was not allowed to be around them. And that's my sister. You probably can't see that too good, but and that was when they were with Estel. They were little, tiny little things, and before I had DCS involvement in the state or whatever, before Connor was even, born, I would take my son with me in the vehicle everywhere I went, if it was chasing money or if it was chasing dope. He had to sit all day and half the night in my car. Or until his daddy came home, or unless I sent him to my sister's. He sat in the car. He ate in the car. He had to use the bathroom in convenience stores or wherever I was close to. And he was okay with it because he was with his mommy. And I lost a lot of people. I lost myself. Whenever it was a while. It went on for a long time after I lost the boys and Esther left. It went on forever. Because at that point I wanted to die anyways. That was my mindset. It doesn't matter how much drugs I do, how many times a day, whatever, how I do it. It doesn't matter, because if I die, I died. I don't have anybody. Me and Estelle ended up getting back together at the very, very, very end of my addiction, and I was still using, but at this point, there was an incident where I almost lost my life, or that's what I'm assuming, because it was one of those where I woke up and I was being yelled at and smacked in the face. When that happened to me, I knew at that point I was going to die. And I missed my kids so much. Something just clicked. God spoke to me. And the very next day, Estelle came and picked me up. And a couple days after that, I came here to this very office. And I was searching for help. And Becky Harper and Denise Bankston were here. And I spoke to Becky that day, and I was completely blew out of my mind. I was completely blown away. I was high. But she still thrived to help me. I had no money for rehab. I had the tiniest bit of willpower there was. Like I said, I was high when I came here. Um, but she found a place for me, and I was not a part of drug court. I've never been in drug court, but they were generous enough to help me get help. And the judge paid for my stay at Buffalo Valley for Women, and it was about 2.5 hours away, 3 hours or something like that. It was something crazy. And Estill took me there. Whenever I went in, I weighed 77 pounds. And we had like just a couple of minutes to say our goodbyes, and it was the hardest thing that I've ever had to see. Watching him have to walk away from me, I was scared. He was scared. I was at this place where I didn't know anybody, but they were all just like me. I I was high the day that I went. I stayed 30 days, and it felt like a year. There were a lot of things that I had to do to even be able to get to call home. You had a red card, a yellow card, and a green card, and we stayed in this old house, and we had chores just like kids. We had to get up every single morning at 4:30 and be ready by 5:30 and go on a bus and learn about addiction and listen to people that had been through it, and it was scary. And so I done my 30 days, and I was at this point whenever I first got there. It's crazy because if you're watching this and you are an addict in recovery, you're scared because you don't want to hurt, you don't want to be sick, and you feel like that it's just not ever going to go away. It took 3 days, and I was completely drug free. And I didn't even understand the full aspect of it. Like, I had lost control of every single part of my life. I walked outside after the sickness had went away, and I had to detox in rehab because I didn't have the money to go to a detox center, and everybody else had already done that. They detoxed first, and I had to do it there. After I detoxed and my body was okay, I walked outside, and it blinded me. I could hear birds chirping, stuff that I didn't hear or didn't see because my mind was so blinded with drugs. The grass was even greener. It's just stuff that you wouldn't imagine having to see all over again. I came home. I was scared to come home, and they offered for me to stay an extra couple weeks because they knew I was afraid to come back here. But I didn't. I couldn't stay there any longer. I wanted to get home and start the process to be able to just see my kids. At this point, I hadn't seen them in months, and Estill came and got me, and I was so terrified to come back here. I was terrified of everybody, I was afraid for my life in certain situations with certain people because I had done so many bad things to them. I had to make amends with everybody in my life, and some of those people did not want to forgive me, and that's okay. I had to change my phone number the day I got out. On the way home, somebody that was with me during my addiction literally called my phone on my way home. Had to get a new phone number. I didn't talk to anybody but my granny and my dad, and Estel, of course. When he went to work, the blinds were closed and the door was locked. I didn't go out anywhere. I was terrified, and I stayed isolated for about a year or a little over that. And during all this, we had court dates, and we ended up getting supervised visits, and then we ended up getting unsupervised visits, and we gradually ended up getting to keep them overnight. And the whole time, we were drug tested through drug court. We weren't in drug court, but we were both drug tested through the whole process. I was clean 15 whole months before my boys got to come home. And when they did come home, I had a lot of mending to do with Connor because he was so little. And I was so terrified that I wouldn't have that with him. And I was so terrified that he would grow up and I would watch him grow up and we wouldn't have a bond because I didn't have that with my mom. The day that they took the boys out of Estel's custody, my oldest son threw a fit so bad that I had to ride in the state vehicle with them as they took my kids away from me to get them to their mama. And when we got there, they had to pry Bradley's arms off of me. He was scratching and digging and holding on for dear life. And they took him right out of my arms. But 15 whole months, I was drug tested. I was drug tested. And they let my boys come home. And everything's been great ever since. And I know that there are a lot of people out there who's struggling right now. And I know this because I have family who are struggling. I know this because my messenger stays full all the time from addicts who need to talk or trying to find a way out. And I wish that I could help and just snap my finger and fix everybody, but I can't. And it's really, really hard to get on here and talk about things, especially things that I hadn't talked about before. But I want to shine my light and be hope for somebody else that can't seem to find their way out, or family members that have to push people away, their own kids, their own sisters, their own granddaughters, their own brothers, sisters, whatever, because a lot of people held me close, but a lot of people pushed me away, and both of them saved my life. you have to love people in the right way. You can't loan them $2 because they like it for a pack of cigarettes. I was that person too. And I didn't like it for cigarettes. I liked it for a pill. And it's hard not to help your family because you want to believe them and you just can't. I hope that my story helps people out there, and I know that I bounce around. I'm a nervous person. I'm not a public speaker at all. But I hope it helps people out there. What Randall's doing is totally amazing, and I couldn't turn him down. I've been wanting to redo my video for a while, but when he messaged me, I was like, okay, this is it. I won't have to redo that video now. I'll just face my fear and go live with it. I'm not reading the comments. Again, nervous person, but I will read them after I get off here. I don't want to keep taking everybody's time up. I just want for you all to know that there is hope. I am living proof of that. Nobody that's close to me ever thought that I would be who I am today, but I am, and I will always be this person. And I love you guys, and I've got my living proof to show you today. Yeah, I'm ready. This is my purpose. We love you guys. Thank you for having me. Bye. Bye.
Hallelujah. How about that? Hey, everybody, we thank you for watching. We've kept up with some of the comments. We want to thank Renee for doing this and just opening up, and thank her family for coming. What beautiful kids. And listen, Esther's got almost as nice beard as I got. Amen. So, hey, we want everybody to tune in next week. Next Wednesday at 6 o'clock, have my cousin coming from Knoxville. Brother Gary Sweet will be sharing his story. I want y'all to tune in, listen to it. We love you. We thank you for your time. And hey, how about going out and sharing some hope with somebody in these dark times? How about pick some people up and help us out? We love everybody. Beard as I got, amen. So, hey, we want everybody to tune in next week. Next Wednesday at 6 o'clock, have my cousin coming from